What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Triple Z Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah Henry. All-Star Weekend is finally here, and for this video, I wanted to give my All-Star Break season awards for the 2024 season, and it's been an interesting season so far. The CBA agreement is in full effect where players have to play 65 games in order to be eligible for any season awards. We had the in-season tournament. That was fun to watch, and there's been players and teams that have taken massive leaps throughout the season. Players like Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, Halliburton, SGA, Pablo Banchero, teams such as, the Clippers, the Knicks, the Cavs, the Pacers, who else? The Timberwolves. All of those players and teams have been absolutely amazing to watch this season. We've also dealt with the injury bug. John Morant's out with a shoulder injury. Kyrie's missed about 20 games or so. Mitchell Robinson's been out for the New York Knicks. Zach LaVine's out 4 to 6 months for the Chicago Bulls. Marcus Smart's out. And then obviously the biggest noticeable player is Joel Embiid. He's out with the left meniscus tear. So it's been a very up and down season. But the first award I want to talk about is the Rookie of the Year award. And this rookie class has been really impressive. I mean, when you look at rookies like Brandon Miller, one of the best three-point shooters in this rookie class, shooting 38% from three, shoots a high percentage off a catch and shoot. And he has great size, makes good decisions in a pick and roll situation, whether it's to get a shot off coming off the screen or to set up his teammates. And he's going to have a lot more offensive responsibility, especially with LaMelo Ball being out with injury. Miles Bridges has been dealing with some off-court issues. The Hornets just traded PJ Washington, so he's definitely going to have the ball in his hands a lot more for the Charlotte Hornets. When you look at other rookies like Brandon Pajensky playing big minutes for the Golden State Warriors, I think he just got inserted into the starting lineup, hence why Klay Thompson was benched in the Utah game. And I think the pairing of him and Stephen Curry is a great mentee, mentorship to have. When you have a player like Stephen Curry, one of the greatest three-point shooters, one of the best players, one of the best point guards ever, however you want to rank Stephen Curry, I think that can really help Brandon Pajensky's career moving forward with Golden State. And then you have players also like Chet Holmgren, impactful on both ends of the basketball for the OKC Thunder, has great shooting splits, the second best player on one of the best teams in the Western Conference. And there's been other great rookies as well, Derek Lively, Triple J from the Miami Heat, the Thompson twins, Scoot Henderson. I'm giving it to Victor Wembanyama. And the Spurs have been not a great team. They're probably one of the worst teams behind Detroit and the Wizards. But when you just watch Victor Wembanyama play, you can tell that there's no limit to his potential, averaging 20 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks. And I think you can fact check me on this, but I think he's the first player since Shaq's MVP season to have those stat lines, at least averaging 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks. In Shaq's MVP season, he averaged 29 points, 13 rebounds, 3 blocks. Victor also leads all rookies in most 20 and 30-point games, leads all rookies in points, steals, rebounds, and blocks. And the numbers are great what he's putting up. He just had like a triple-double with 10 blocks against the Toronto Raptors a couple games ago. And I think Victor is he's definitely going to get a quadruple double sooner or later. Sooner or later, he's definitely capable of getting a quadruple double. But even after saying all that, the most impressive thing to me about Victor Wembanyama is against other great centers and big men in the league, he's been able to hold his own in almost most of those matchups. Against the Lakers, against Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis had a stat line of 37 points, 10 rebounds. Victor in that game, 30 points, 13 rebounds. Against Giannis Antetokounmpo, where the Bucks visited the Spurs on TNT, that was one of the best games of the season. Honestly, I love that matchup between Victor and Giannis. But Giannis in that game had 44 points, 14 rebounds. Victor had 27 points, 9 rebounds, 5 blocks. Against Nikola Jokic, Jokic had 39 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists. Victor in that game, 22 points, 11 rebounds, 6 steals, 4 blocks. And then also against Joel Embiid. Now, I know Joel Embiid scored 70 points, which was absolutely crazy, and had 18 rebounds as well. But a lot of people forget that Victor had a great game, against the reigning MVP, which is 33 points and 7 assists. Now, the fact that Victor was able to put up 33 and 7 rebounds against the reigning MVP and against another great defensive player in Joel Embiid, that's fairly impressive. So I think Victor Wembanyama should definitely be the top candidate for Rookie of the Year right now. Moving on to Defensive Player of the Year, I'm going to say for right now, Rudy Gobert. He's the anchor of the best defensive team in the entire association with the Minnesota Timberwolves, 8th in blocks with 2.1. A lot of players avoid the painted area when Rudy Gobert's on the court. He's a little bit better on the perimeter, especially when he's going against other centers that can space out the floor like a Chet Holmgren, Sabonis, Jokic, Embiid, people of that nature. From the games I've watched, he's much better closing out on the perimeter. And the reason why I say for right now I'll pick Rudy, because I truly believe that Anthony Davis can win Defensive Player of the Year by the end of this season. Because when you look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, Rudy's great. He's He's a great defender, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, so he knows what to do defensively for a team. But he's surrounded by, other some really good defenders as well. Anthony Edwards is starting to ascend as a defender. We know what Cat can do defensively. Jaden McDaniels is no scrub defensively. So I think he's surrounded by great players that makes him look great as well defensively. And then when you look at Anthony Davis in the Lakers situation, I truly believe also that Anthony Davis defense is the key for the Lakers winning games. I think Anthony Davis is much more versatile defensively than Rudy Gobert. I think Anthony Davis can definitely guard 1 through 5 better than any center in the league. In the pick and roll situation, Anthony Davis can stop the ball handler from causing any type of penetration towards the basket. And then if the ball handler, throws it to the big man rolling, Anthony Davis is fast enough on his feet to rotate back to the interior and contest the shot. So I think Anthony Davis definitely has potential at the end of the season to win Defensive Player of the Year. Most improved player. Now, it's pretty obvious. I think most people will say Tyrese Maxey. And Tyrese Maxey has been absolutely great. I think once, James Harden made the move to the Los Angeles Clippers, Maxey had to move into that second option behind Joel Embiid. And he's been definitely, doing great for the 76ers. Has taken a massive leap in scoring. I think before Joel Embiid got injured, Joel Embiid and Maxey were the highest scoring duo in the league. And Maxey's been great, scoring the basketball efficiently, having a 50-point game. He's scoring great. He's doing all types of things. He's a first-time All-Star this year. Congratulations to him. But with most improved player, when we talk about Tyrese Maxey, you can see that happening from like a mile away. He's going to, take that extra step up offensively for the 76ers. And I feel like with most improved player, you kind of have to give it to a player where you just didn't see it coming from, and then when it's happening in front of you, you're like, wow, that you've taken massive leaps in all aspects of your game. And for that player, for me, it's going to be Kobe White from the Chicago Bulls. He's improved his scoring each and every month. He's a better ball handler, shooting 39% from 3 on at least 7 attempts a game. And last season, Kobe White averaged 9 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, 37% from 3, 44% from the field in 23 minutes. This season, he's averaging 19 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 39% from 3, 45% from the field in just 36 minutes. And he's scoring the ball much better, reading the defenses, understanding what to do offensively, getting to his spots quickly. And I think Chicago will be fools if they don't keep Kobe White when they're trying to break apart this team. Sixth man. For me, I'm going to say Tim Hardaway Jr., one of the best scorers off the bench, averaging 17 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist in just 29 minutes. And he's always been that player to step up for the Mavericks anytime Luka or Kyrie has missed a game. In 7 games without Luka for the Mavericks, Tim Hardaway Jr. is averaging 25 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. In the 20 games that Kyrie Irving has missed for the Mavericks, Hardaway is averaging 20 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. So he's definitely always going to be that next guy up. He's been absolutely one of the best players for the Mavericks. He's definitely one of the key pieces for the Mavericks, making a playoff run. Coach of the Year, I'm going to go with Mark Daigneault of the Oklahoma City Thunders. I mean, last year he was a finalist for Coach of the Year, and that's with OKC making the play-in. So I'll be pretty confused if he's not Coach of the Year with OKC being a top 3 seed in the Western Conference. And for Mark Daigneault, he has a team with, MVP candidate and SGA, Rookie of the Year candidate in Chet Holmgren. Jalen Williams is taking a massive leap in his game offensively and defensively. You have Isaiah Joe, one of the best 3-point shooters, in the league and off the bench. And for Mark to just have this team level-headed and keep their head on right, I think it's really important, because we've seen a lot of young teams like the Memphis Grizzlies get a little too ahead of themselves and get a little bit cocky and haven't proven anything. And how they're set up right now, I mean, they be having like 13 inactive players on a nightly basis. So I think for OKC, they're a humble team. They understand how great they can be. They definitely want to contend in the Western Conference and make a deep playoff run. And I think Mark's doing a great job with just keeping that team in the right headspace. Yeah, moving on to MVP. I think everyone can agree that Joel Embiid was rightfully so the front runner of the MVP race before he got injured. Joel Embiid, before he got injured, was absolutely looking like the best player in basketball. Some of the performances, obviously, 70 points against the San Antonio Spurs, multiple 50-point games throughout the season, averaging more points than minutes. There's been multiple times where Joel Embiid sat out the fourth quarter because he's put in Philly in a great position to win the game, to the point where he doesn't have to play in the fourth quarter. And it sucks, because you definitely want to see every player healthy, and you want to see all the teams have their great players on the court. So for him to be injured and, not be eligible to receive MVP. It's going to be difficult for fans, Philly fans mostly, but it's probably going to be difficult for himself because he was definitely going to win that award, rightfully so, because last season he won the award, but a lot of people thought that it was a sympathy award and most fans thought that Jokic should have won MVP. And I hope that's not the case with my pick, SGA. Right now, he should be MVP because if SGA wins, and I'll go into why I think he should definitely be the top candidate for MVP. If SGA wins, I feel like people are going to go the route that, yeah, SGA won, but it really should have been Joel Embiid, almost like how it was last season. Yeah, Joel Embiid won, but it should have been Jokic. Hopefully SGA doesn't go through that, but I think SGA should definitely be top candidate for MVP. And I saw the rankings. It was Jokic, SGA, Giannis, I want to say Luka, Jason Tatum, and Kawhi Leonard. Now, SGA, when we look at SGA, I mean, he made all NBA first team last year. He will definitely make it this year. He's a starter in the Western Conference over Steph Curry, a two-time MVP, one unanimous. And when we look at SGA throughout the season, I mean, OKC's a top 3 seed in the Western Conference. SGA is first in points, steals, free throws, and most 30-point games. He's the best player on a young OKC team that looked like legit contenders throughout the entire league, averaging 31 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2.2 steals, 54% from the field, 37% from the three. I think he's top 10 in paint scores as well. I think he's the only guard in paint scores, and the other 9 players are centers, so that's pretty big as well. So I'm definitely going to give it to SGA. If Joel Embiid wasn't injured and he could meet that qualification of 65 games, I would give it to Joel Embiid. I would definitely give it to Joel Embiid, but since he's not going to qualify, I'm going to give it to SGA. This award was implemented last year, Clutch Player of the Year award. I don't really look too much into clutch stats. I should definitely more. I saw a stat where it was like Steph Curry has more clutch points than LeBron James and Kevin Durant combined. So I'm going to go with Steph Curry for Clutch Player of the Year. And I'll definitely go over these season awards again towards the end of the season when the NBA has given the official awards out. Yeah, it's been an interesting season. I love it so far. There's been a lot of great games, a lot of amazing performances. Excited for the playoffs. The standings in both conferences, you just don't know because the West is stacked, but then like the first 4 seeds, any of those 4 seeds can be the first seed on any given night. The East is looking really competitive as well with like Milwaukee, having a shaky season. Boston's looking like the best team overall in the association. Cavaliers are like 18-3 in their last, 21 games. Indiana's looking like one of the best offensive teams as well. So this season has been pretty wild. And I'm looking forward to the All-Star game come this Sunday. If I had to predict who would win All-Star MVP, I'm going to say Luka. That's my bet for All-Star MVP. It will definitely be Luka Doncic. But thank you guys for listening to the Triple Z podcast. Please let me know down in the comment section who you think would win these awards and who should be the top candidate for any awards I've named so far. Let me know down in the comment section. Thank you guys for listening. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for listening to the Triple Z podcast. I'll see you guys soon. Zzz.